Here. So my name's Rebecca Eastwood, and I'm joined today by CTI alumni Sue Belton. When Sue started as a coach, she knew she wanted to pursue this as a career, and having been an employee for her whole life, she now had to significantly shift her focus into running a successful business, a big focus shift. So with limited business experience, she had to learn fast. So since then, Sue has been voted Best Female Entrepreneur, Best Coach. Her book, Change Your Life in 5, was nominated for Best Self-Help Book, and her podcast, Changemakers, has been downloaded in 28 countries. And it doesn't stop there, as she's recently published her second book, Screw Meditation. So welcome, Sue.
Thank you very much. That's a lovely, lovely introduction.
So Sue, you've been here. Before. So this is why we've asked you, and you've kindly accepted to come along today and tell our audience, your experience and what you've learned over time. So I'd love for the people on this call to start off by just basically putting in the chat where you are in your coaching journeys. We're going to cover a few questions as well, sort of just to start off and get a flavour of coaching as a career, but also, I'm going to be looking after the Q&A. So if you have any questions that you have for Sue, if you pop them into the Q&A, we will cover those as well in time if they're not already covered in what we are talking on. We're speaking already. So we've got a beginner coach, we've got some working on cert, we've got someone in first year, not started but getting ready. Well done, Sue. There's another Sue in the mix here. And brilliant. Others that want to do this as a career, just completed fulfillment. Lovely. So we've got a really nice mix of people here. So I think the first question is, what's the first thing that anyone should be thinking about when they're starting to think about being a career coach or a coach as a career?
Well, I think the biggest thing, I think you kind of said it in the intro for me. You said I had little business experience. I had no business experience actually. And that's the case for most of my mentees. So the biggest shift, the biggest thing you need to be thinking about is, as well as doing the gorgeous coach training and getting into the coaching, which is the beautiful bit and why we all do it, and it's why I still do it today, you've got to make a big shift from being an employee to being an entrepreneur. And part of that, you've really got to look at building your business as quickly as possible. So that's the really big thing. I mean, I've got a new client at the minute who's only just done fundamentals. She's going into core at the end of the month, and she's already focusing on her business. Like, wow, that is amazing. And that's the best I've ever had in terms of a client doing it early. But you've really got to start thinking that if you want to do the beautiful work of coaching, you need to start building a business fast.
Okay, and so what's the first steps when you're looking at building your business? What do you have to do first? What does the business plan look like?
Yeah, well, I never had a business plan. And but what I would highly recommend is you work with someone and you build out your business plan so you have a really big long-term vision. So this is where, coaching skills come into play. So you do fulfillment work. You look at actually, what does it look like? Who do I want to work with? What does my life look like around that? Because most of you, and this was the same for me, you're doing it because you want to live a more purposeful life. You're also doing it because you want to spend more time with your friends and family. You're also doing it because you want to support your family and also have a very different kind of work-life balance. So all of that has got to be integrated into your business vision, your long-term. You also then build out a timeline, do a midpoint vision, right down to 6 months, right down to what you're going to focus on in the first 3 months. You've got to get super, super clear. And in terms of financials, again, super, super clear, because if you are leaving a corporate, most people, some people can leave because they've got to pay out, something like that. But for most people, you reach a sweet spot financially before you can actually leave. So you've got to get really, really clear and knowledgeable about the financials, and preferably build up or have a cash buffer in the background for you.
What would you recommend as a cash buffer? How many sort of months would you recommend? Because I think that's a really important question for budding coaches, feeling that, at what point can they really transition from their current job into full-time coaching?
Yeah, it's a good question, actually. Look, it depends on you, but I like to have a good 6 month cash buffer. can't speak, cash buffer in my bank account. And what's really important about that is it stops you making fear-based decisions. And it also, you know, it is stressful and it is anxiety laden running your own business. It's completely different. And there are lots of ups and downs, but you really want to stop yourself going into that fear and anxiety as much as possible. And that's what it does for you. So I like a good 6 months personally.
What pitfalls can that fear and anxiety take you into?
The biggest pitfall I see, so this is great that we're catching you on this tonight, all you new and budding coaches. The biggest mistake I see is the biggest fear is not feeling good enough. So that's one saboteur. The other one is a money mindset. Oh, people won't pay for, you know, me doing things, you know, having that collapsed belief that doing things that are helping people, you can't charge good money for. So really looking at your money mindset. And the other third big fear that I see is that I'm nothing unique. I'm not special. So I can't go out there and create a program. I can't do this. There's nothing special about me. And then the biggest pitfall on the back of that, especially the not good enough, is that I've seen coaches spend tens of thousands on extra coaching programs, always they think that that's going to be the one that makes them feel good enough, be successful and all of that. Whereas actually core curriculum and certification, if you're working in corporates, that's all you need to be doing. But I see people week in, week out spending thousands and tens of thousands. And also the time and energy they're spending on more and more trainings, they're not spending and investing in building their business, which is what you have to do. Otherwise you will fold. I've seen it.
And that's really the power of being a CPCC and the amount of work that goes into that, the amount of hours. You know, when you came out of your CPCC, how did you feel about sort of starting your business at that point?
I started earlier. I mean, I started taking on, I took my first client on. My first client was from fulfillment. That was my first client. I mean, I knew I only had a small cash buffer. I had a 2-year-old child and I knew it was like a survival thing. I had to start earning money, which can be good. It's quite fear laden. But I started building my business after doing fulfillment. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's amazing. So that really brings us on to the question that lots of people ask, money.
Yeah.
It can be seen as a dirty word sometimes, or perceived as a dirty word in this scenario, which it absolutely isn't. What would people, I mean, do you incrementally increase how much you're charging over time with experience? Where do you start? And at what point do you feel valuable enough to be charging?
Yeah, it's you know, it's a circular thing. They lead into each other. I say never do pro bono unless you want to do pro bono additionally, like have 1 or 2 slots to do pro bono if that's what you want to do, but not in terms of building your business and not because you're a coach just in training. You are always bringing all of who you are, all of your life experience, and at every point in the coach training, like I said, fulfillment, you only coach within your experience, and that's massively valuable, and people forget that. So I hate to see people saying, oh, I'm offering really, really cut rate or hardly anything, because when you do that, people won't value what you do. They will not be fully invested in the process. And it just takes you down in terms of, remember that not good enough saboteur, it just feeds into that. And I really hate seeing it. I see it all the time. But so I trained 16 years ago, and then I was charging the equivalent of £50 an hour in core curriculum. So that's 16 years ago. Not that you should ever charge by the hour. We're not by the hour people. You should always charge for a program and for the results, but the equivalent in your mind.
Yeah.
And then you say, actually, the really good question is about going up incrementally. That helps with the fear and with the not good enough. If you do it incrementally, but a stretch, make it a stretch. I still get scared when I put my fees up, but as soon as I've signed up my first client at that new rate, I'm fine. It's like, you know, so it's human, it's normal, but do it incrementally for sure.
Okay. We're starting to get some questions coming in, but the one thing I wanted to ask you before we go to the questions is, how do you get the clients in the first place?
Yeah.
Where do you find them?
Yeah. Well, I kind of found them everywhere. Bus stops, people I knew. I mean, your network, whoever you are, you will have a network reaching out of hundreds and hundreds of people. You won't believe that as I say this. I know you won't, but trust me, you will. So it's friends of friends, absolutely for sure. And like I say, bus stops. I was very good in bars. I was very good at enrolling people in bars, everywhere you go. But whatever you do, whenever you're speaking with someone, wherever you pick up your clients or wherever you focus your attention, make your outreach specific to them and the pain points they're suffering from. Never be a generalist. You know, never go, oh, coaching is this. It's not your job to sell coaching. Get curious, use your coaching skills in the moment or by email to find out what this group of people or this person's pain points are and speak directly to them and how coaching can help those issues. Because that's what people will pay for. That's the value.
Right, great. And earlier you talked about sort of and what makes you unique. There's kind of a couple of areas here. There's what makes you as a person unique, and then we can talk about niche coaching later. You know, what niche do you take? We have a question here that says, how do you find what you are unique at, and
Yeah.
how do you know how to create a program that suits your uniqueness?
Yeah, yeah. So in terms of what you're unique at, right at the beginning, you may not know, but you can work with someone like me who will help you define that. And it really typically comes from your story, your background, your journey. It's, you know, we coach ourselves basically, and I still coach myself really, although I'm not a male leader, but in terms of personality type, I always coach myself. I always coach similar people to me. So actually, it's not that difficult, but the three key things to think about are what's your passion? What kind of people do you love helping them with? What kind of people or what kind of subject area? Actually, and also, can they afford it? So a really early mistake is, you know, if you might be attracted to working with people in a certain part, in a certain area, they may not have the money. So look at focusing on the organization or, you know, the people that they may feed into. So go through that process. And what you do is I actually get people to identify their ideal client profile. So I'm going like that because this is how I do it in terms of, you know, who these people are, what their pain points are, what their issues are, where they show up on social media, where do they go, what kind of things do they consume, what will they come to you with, what are their pain points, and when they leave you, what are the benefits? And then the bit in between, that's your program, that's the bridge. You're helping them get from here to here. Anyone can do that. It takes a lot of work and clarification, but any one of you right now could do that work.
Right. I'm just going to say, just as a little interlude here for everyone that's watching, if anyone would like Sue to give them some sort of mentoring on their own business, so you might have started, you might not have, then we can just do it. We're offering a live mentoring session here as well. Let's go into the niche element. And so how do you find if you do have a niche and you've decided to go, I don't know, you're going to focus on a particular area, what do you do then? How do you investigate it? How do you build that community?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of both, especially when you're starting out, because that's where we are now, who we're talking to, is, so for example, one of my niches, and go on my website, SueBelton.com, you'll see my 3 niches. And one of them is my strategic leader program. Now, those guys, and what happened is I work in corporates, and I started to see quite early on that I was working with the same issue over and over. The same things were presenting. I was getting the same people with the same issues. And they were the ones, and there's a few other types of people I work with in corporates who I didn't really, I didn't feel passionate about what I was helping them with. So those things, those kind of people naturally fall off. And I was just getting the same guys over and over again, same issues over and over again. And that became my niche. And they're the ones I love working with. So on the back of that, I developed the Strategic Leader program. So it's really watching for, you know, in your early days, think just coach anyone and everyone if you want to in those really, really, really super early days, or niche, earlier the better, as we've said, but just start really looking out for who you really vibe with and the kind of issues you love helping people actually resolve. That's the key thing. And remember, do they have the money? Can they pay for it? Or will they? Is it big enough an issue for them to pay for?
Do you have to be an expert in that niche in order to be able to coach?
No, most of my for my strategic leader program, my clients are men in their 40s and 50s, working typically, they're in large multinational organizations, they're engineers, they're scientists, in tech. I am not a man. I've never been a senior leader in a multinational, I've never been an engineer. So no, but what you do need to be and who you do need to be is someone who can see those people, someone who can hold the space with that person, someone who can meet them in their thinking so that you can take them to all the other fabulous places we take them as coactives. Yeah.
So there must have been a moment in your career where you've kind of walked into a room and you feel, you've had that imposter syndrome. How do you get over that in that moment when you're potentially meeting a CEO of a big organization, for example, or someone that's not had coaching before and doesn't feel that, maybe it's right for them, but they're going along with it because it's something that's been advised for them to have.
Yeah. I mean, I remember, and this is my big regret, if you ask me, which you may do actually, but we'll skip to that, if you do, is if there was one thing I wish I'd learned and known and someone had grabbed me by my lapels and said, do this, Sue, it would be to really deal with my saboteur. So I had a saboteur around that I could not do corporate. I'm not corporate enough. I cannot do corporate. I had massive imposter syndrome around that. Absolutely. And when we say imposter syndrome, it's a real fear that you're going to get found out. It's not just, it's like hot sweats in the middle of the night. To the extent that the night before I went for my first corporate outreach meeting, and I was having a massive panic attack, called my coach and mentor. She talked me down off the ledge to get support because it's massive and it is real. So I would say, really deal with that. Really do your prep, really do your research, really walk your talk, really do the work, have a coach, have a mentor, do your own personal work, because the more you do that, the more you will be able to hold others in their work as well. It's really important.
So coaches having coaches is something you need to build into your business plan then in terms of financially.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Your personal development and the development of your business are core business elements that they're non-negotiables. I mean, I would never have a coach or a mentor who did not have their own coach or mentor and was not doing their own work, ever. And how also can you be out there in the world promoting coaching and not doing it yourself? Doesn't make sense to me. But also it's the best business development you can do, because the more you grow, you are your biggest tool in your business, your most valuable asset. The more you invest in yourself, the more successful you're going to be.
So you've written a book, you've written 2 books, which is very
I have. Can you
cool.
see someone was asking, so I'm holding it up because they were saying, oh, what's the book? So that's why I'm showing them. There you go.
Which is very impressive. So you've written 2 books, you had a podcast. Do you need to do all those things to be a successful coach?
You don't need to do all of those things, but what you really do need to do is differentiate yourself. So create a USP for yourself. What you do need to do is niche, because if you're not niching, you're just a generalist who will work with anyone and everyone. And in that, people will get lost and they'll feel that they could just be anyone and everyone, and they'll move on. Because nobody wants a GP versus a consultant, a specialist. I was going to say gynecologist then, but you know what I mean. A knee doctor. If you've got a knee issue, you want a consultant knee surgeon. You do not want to go and see a GP who could just kind of see anyone and everyone. So you need to do that. And you need to build out so that you can actually enroll people. And look, it's a big ask for someone to come and work with you and spend thousands of pounds off the bat. You need to warm them up. You need to introduce yourself to them. You need to give them bits of valuable information so they know you, like you, and can trust you. Then you get to discovery call phase, and then they might sign up. So you do need to create what I call as a program ecosystem that feeds into that. There's a process you need to take clients to in order to get them onto a clarity call and sign up with you for coaching. So you do need to do that. And that's where the books come in, because, you know, somebody can have 3 or 4 hours of getting to know me. That's where the podcasts come in. They can go and listen to me and get to know me. So all of those things, LinkedIn posts, they get to know you, that you have an opinion, that you know your stuff. Blogs, the same. So you can start doing blogs and LinkedIn posts or whatever, wherever your people show up. You do need to start reaching out to people and people to keep seeing you. That know, like, and trust factor. You've got to do that.
So we've had a question about social media and LinkedIn posts, Facebook, Instagram. I mean, the list goes on, and it can be very, very time consuming. And I think we've spoken before about how long it takes you to do your own podcast. You know, you kind of underestimate the amount of time it can take. If what's your recommendations to anyone starting out? Where should they go? How often should they post? You know, how much of that should be in their business plan in terms of their visibility on social media?
Yeah. So look, I'm on LinkedIn because that's where my people are. Okay. I only post I post twice a week, and I share my business partners' posts. So I have 3 posts a week. I would say when you're starting out, find out. So this is why it's important to niche. So you know your people. And in terms of messaging, what you're writing about, you know what they want to know about. And find out which platform they're on so you know where to do that. I am on Facebook and Instagram, but not so much these days. I focus on one platform, and that is LinkedIn for me. And you can start doing that once a week, but that is absolute minimum. And in terms of what you're writing about, this is the thing that I hear a lot of coaches get their knickers in a twist and go, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it, because it's about them putting themselves out there. Because as coaches, this isn't why we do it. We don't do it to be on LinkedIn. None of this stuff is why we do it. But the big shift to have is that it's not about you. Anything you're writing is about your client, and it's for your client. Even if, look, I post loads of selfies on LinkedIn because it's good for the algorithm, and it's good for people getting to know, like, and trust me. It's not even about me even posting selfies. So do remember that everything you do is got to be about your client. And if it is about you, it's only in relation to how you can too help them to resolve their pain points.
We've had a question here around your ratio of time. So in your average business week, you know, how much time do you spend coaching clients versus tackling your business development? And what are some of the other things that you need to be doing outside of actually coaching?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I'm 16 years in, and I still spend 2 full days on business development. And that I only coach Wednesday to Friday, and that's 16 years in. When now you're starting out or about to start out, there is no reason for you not to be spending all the hours. So if you're in a job, it's your spare time, it's your evenings, it's whatever. I don't recommend that long term. It's not sustainable. I'm all for work-life balance. But, you know, if you are completely free to be developing your business Monday to Friday, like, seriously, this is your priority, and coaching in around that. But at least 2 days a week, full on. And that is outreach, that's meetings with prospects, that's doing your social media posts. For me, I do writing, I create handbooks for my clients. So that's creating content, or I'm writing my next book soon. It's whatever it is, you know, it's doing webinars, creating partnerships with organizations that your clients might be a part of. It's developing those, offering those out to people. It's all of that stuff is absolutely essential. So in the beginning days, like Monday to Friday, if you can, with your coaching sessions within that, but that needs to be your priority. Yeah.
Okay, so within that, so how many clients should you have at any one given time? Because there's obviously a real balance between sustaining your business and also making sure that your well-being is looked after as well.
Yeah, it's really important. I mean, I burnt out in my first 4 years, and I went overboard, and that's why I write about the things I write about in Screen Meditation and things like that. It's really, really important, and this is why it's really important to do your business plan, to look at what hours you have, how many you want to work. I only work max 30 hours a week. How many hours you want to work, what those hours are, and then you work around that. And in terms of numbers of clients, then you work out and calculate the numbers of clients you can see within that, or whether you're doing group work, whether you want to do that, that's different fees, trainings, seminars, speaking, whatever that is. That's why you need to do your business plan, because you really need to look at the figures and how they fit. And the starting point is how many hours you want or can work a week. Yeah, super important.
So just checking in, if we've got anyone that wants to be mentored by Sue Live, put your name in the chat. We haven't had any volunteers yet. I think you're all a bit shy. One more question here is, how do you cold call corporates, or do you reach out on LinkedIn? Do you have a script that can, you can help? And, how do you meet prospects? How do you get onto podcasts when there's so much competition around?
Yeah, I don't do much cold calling of corporates, and I highly recommend you start with your low-hanging fruit. This is why it's really important to lean into your current network. People who know people who know people. What is useful though, and a lot of people do cold stuff. I hate the cold stuff on LinkedIn. I'm on the receiving end of it all the time. But what you can do is start warming people up through LinkedIn. And then invite them to a workshop or a webinar. Never sell straight to them. But like I say, this is why you need to have a program. I keep going like this, program ecosystem, because it feeds people in. So you can start warming people up on LinkedIn, but I never actually go for cold. So for example, in my early days, one of my first corporate jobs, my first ones came from an existing private client. So never dismiss private clients for that. They're a brilliant source. Ask for referrals. Other ones came from people I used to work with at the BBC, and I'd connected with them. So I just said, this is what I'm doing. And then they started looking at my stuff as I started posting. And then I said, look, I'm building my business. I'm doing some research into pain points in your industry. Can I come for a coffee? That is a classic outreach that I will do, but they're not cold. So start with the warm, start with the people you already know. I had that meeting. I said, and there's a certain way that I hold those meetings and drop in insights, and there's a certain technique I use. And I asked to be referred to the head of L&D. I was referred, and that head of L&D, I nurtured that relationship, got clients through them, but I kept nurturing that relationship, and he has taken me to every organization he's been since. So that's how you do it. It's all about relationship building. So that's why it's better not to start cold, actually, to be honest.
Yeah, love that. We've got some people that want to be mentored, so that's brilliant. Just a couple more quick questions. Do you need to be a limited company? Do you need insurance?
You don't need to be a limited company, but I highly recommend it if you're going into corporate. Oh, well, yes, if you're going into corporate, become a limited company. And yes, you do need insurance.
Okay. And then someone has asked, let's have a look. What books or resources do you recommend in terms of building out your coaching business? Is there anything apart from yours?
Do you know what? I have not got my main learnings from books. I've got it from going on courses and my own mentoring and coaching. And the only one that I really liked is How to Get Clients Now. And that's by a coactive coach, CJ Hayden. Have I got one? No, I have. Oh, yes. Yeah. How to Get Clients Now. Hold on. Although I too am replacing this with my own content on my Successful Coach program. So I'm going to stop recommending this soon, because I do cover that on my program as well. But that is a good one for starter. Yeah.
Lovely. Thank you. Right, I think, are you ready to mentor someone?
Yeah, can I see them on here though? It'd be nice to see
We're
them.
going to promote them up. I'm going to turn my video off. And Carol, can we put Carol on screen, please? On it. Right. Okay. It's happening in the background. That's
I can just see your name, Carol. If you can hear me, I can see your name.
good.
Yeah.
Right. And we do have someone else who wants to, if we've got time as well.
Yeah. Cool.
We'll see how we get on.
So just waiting for you, Carol. We need to fill the space, you know.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Move on to the next person. So
Yeah.
Laurel. Oh, Carol's here. Right, lovely.
Yeah.
Thank you, Carol. I will leave you guys to it.
Hey, Carol. Oh, I'm not hearing you. Yeah, I'm not hearing Carol. Let's see. I'll keep talking, Carol, and you talk to me. Can you talk, Carol? And see if we can hear you. Oh, you're frozen now. Okay. I don't think that's working. So we'll have to lose Carol because she's frozen and take in Laurel.
Yes, let's move to Laurel. I know that there are still a few other questions in the Q&A, so we will look at those. So someone said here, I'm fascinated by the fact you had no corporate experience, and yet that's the niche that you called to.
Yeah.
Can you tell us more about what grabbed you about that work, and that you still love what you still love about your work with mid-career male leaders?
Yeah, it's a really good question, actually. So I think I alluded to it earlier. It's about personality for me. So what kept coming up with these male leaders was that they wanted to be more strategic. They were just working all of the hours, really stressed, anxiety ridden, heading to burnout. Hello, that was me, okay, in my previous career. They also had pretty low emotional intelligence, so they weren't great with people, so they needed to learn that. And they didn't spend any time with their friends and family because of that. So, but they also needed to learn some very core emotional intelligence leadership skills. And I absolutely loved the work. And they were kind of like me. I mean, I was brought up, it's difficult to imagine, but I was kind of brought up like a boy in the army, and I had short hair and everything. So I was brought up in a very masculine way. And I had a lot of the limiting beliefs and saboteurs similar to a lot of my male clients. So it was really about, so I could meet them in their stuff, and I could especially meet them in their intellect and hold that space with them. So really hold them in how they presented and how they came. We had a lot of very similar personality traits. And then through my training and my own journey, this is why I say you got to walk your talk, do your own work. And through what I'd learned, that meant I could take them to where I knew they wanted to get to and where would serve them. So it's really about a chemistry, a personality fit, and also a pain point fit. Absolutely.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
We have Laurel with us now, so I'm going to leave you both to have your mentoring session, and I will be back after.
Brilliant. Hi, Laurel.
Hello.
Hello. Hi. So what would you like? I don't know how long we've got. How long have we got? Maybe, should we do 5 minutes? Rebecca, I don't know. We didn't say how long we do. What would you like to have by the end of 5 minutes, Rebecca? Sorry, Laurel.
My next steps, I haven't started anything with my marketing, and I'd like one or two next steps.
Okay, next steps with your marketing.
Yeah.
Okay. So what have you done already? Where are you in your journey, Laurel?
Where I am is I'm taking a coaching course, and what I want to do is coach people who've had a major disruption in their life due to a medical event.
Oh my God. So you've got a niche.
Yeah, and that happened to me 30 years ago.
There we go. There you go. Coaching yourself. This is how it goes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Got it. And how many people have you coached so far in this area, in this niche?
2, but it was 10 years ago.
Okay. And going from your memory of your own situation and from coaching those 2 people, what are their pain points that they present? What do they come to you saying? What are the things they say, want to resolve? What are their issues?
One is more, like, why did this happen to me?
Yeah.
And how am I going to make a living?
Yeah. Got it. And what did you help them get to by the end of your coaching?
We didn't get very far at all. Basically, the one person, she couldn't take any action steps. And so, I was, at that time taking a different coaching course. It could have, I can't blame her. Maybe it was me, but I didn't get anywhere.
Got it. So what do you know from your own experience that they want to get to? What would they want? What would they pay for coaching to get to? What is it they want?
They want somebody who understands what they're going through, will listen to them. Often other family members or friends are tired of it. They want a plan for how they're going to make money. They want some support around handling the medical system. I'm not in any way a medical professional, but there's just kind of the, got to go to this test and that test and the other thing.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. So these people, is there anything else about them, age, job description, that you can narrow down to? Are there any other characteristics that we can define them by?
I would say in their 30s and 40s, because I was in my 30s when it happened to me.
Yeah.
You don't expect it to happen at that age.
Yeah. Got it. Don't expect it. Okay, cool. So where might you find these people?
Well, doctor's offices, but it's not like I don't think that they would like it if I went into doctor's offices and marketed myself.
Don't worry about that for now. Just think about what other places might you be able to access these people through? What other organizations that they go to for help, other potential?
There's certainly plenty of Facebook groups and organizations, but most of them won't allow any advertising for, maybe I can do relationship building there. Yeah, but yeah, no advertising.
Got it. Okay, so I would say for you, next steps, are you going into the coach training, or you're on a coach training at the minute?
I'm about halfway through.
You're about halfway through. Okay, so I would say for you, I would recommend, like you just alluded to then, that you get some partnerships. You look at developing some relationships. And when I say partnerships, because you've got something that can help the people that another organization is already helping. Not another coaching organization, but another organization that helps these people or accesses these people in a different way.
Okay.
Have conversations with those organizations and find out, and you already know the pain points of your people, right? You already know it. But go and have those conversations, say, what are the main issues they're struggling with? Find out the main issues. So you might want to do a webinar, like a 60-minute webinar free, that will get you in front of groups of your people. That's what everybody wants to do, by the way, who's listening. You want to get into front of groups of your people with some high value content. So for you, it might be to get, okay, you've got the diagnosis, what next? Or it might be something like, you know, how you plan to make money during this phase. What do you want to do next? What does this next phase look like? Something of high value that you
Uh-huh.
put on for free. And then at the end of it, and I'm going to use words like upsell because they are not dirty words. You do
Right.
need to sell your coaching to have a business. Unless you're
Yes.
lucky that you don't need to earn any money, great. Good luck to you. Fabulous. But we're talking about business.
Yes, absolutely.
So, and at the end of that, you can upsell for a consultation, a clarity call about your coaching programs that would support them.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing I would say is develop relationships, like you said, with any of those Facebook groups are perfect. Start developing relationships with anywhere that your people are going to be. And I'm going like this because I've got a wall, you know, brainstorm all of the pain points, the issues that these people are going through. And then you can start speaking to them on the social media platform they most show up on.
Okay.
So for you, that might be Facebook or it might be LinkedIn, but you're saying they're in their 30s and 40s. You want people who will be able to pay you.
Yes.
So remember that too.
Yeah. Yep.
So I would say partnerships. I would say social media.
Uh-huh.
And if you haven't already, start doing the bare bones of a website, or if not, a LinkedIn profile, whichever's most relevant, where you can talk about your own story in relation to how you can help them get from A to B.
Aha. Yes.
And be super clear what A is and be super
Mm-hmm.
clear what B is. And then look at working with a coach or a mentor to design the program, the bridge that will get them from there to there. And that is your individual program. And it needs to have a name. Go and have a look on my website. Nick my ideas. That's fine. You'll see it.
Yep.
That's what you need to do next.
Okay.
How is that? We're at 5 minutes. Laurel,
Yes.
do you have what you need? Any more questions?
So social media, I would then like post to the Facebook groups that these people are on.
Yeah, but you need to get permission first and create relationships with the people, ask permission of the people who run those Facebook groups. Or
Okay.
what you do is something called piggybacking, which is anyone who's already doing what you're doing, and don't worry if someone is, you then follow them and start commenting, not selling your own stuff, but commenting with insights from your own work as somebody who works in that arena.
Aha.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that idea. That feels like a real manageable starting point with, with the other ones to come.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's check where we are. What's your key takeaway from that, Laurel?
My key takeaway is write about my story with clarity of where I am and where I got to, or where I can get the clients to get to. And I'm already working on writing my story.
Right.
So adding that to it is not hard.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks for volunteering.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Wonderful. That was really great. Thank you, Sue. I think that was a really insightful. We're going to try and bring back our previous volunteer and see if we can get the sound all sorted with Carol. But before we do that, just one more question is, someone's asked, does Sue only work with people leaving the corporate world to become coaches, or would she work with someone as self-employed complementary therapist who's moving into coaching?
Yes, so strategic leader is my one niche. My other niche, I've got 2 more niches. One is I mentor coaches, coactive coaches, in the first couple of years of building their businesses. So yes, I do, and I will go and have a look at my website, SueBelton.com, and you will see I've got a successful coach program. I won't promote it anymore, Rebecca. I'm just answering the question.
Okay, let's bring Carol on.
Right.
Yay!
Yay. Oh my goodness.
Round 2. Okay.
Zoom settings.
So I'm acknowledging your tenacity, Carol. Thank you. So there we go.
Goodness.
There we go. There we go. So, okay, let's do, say 5 minutes again. What do you want to have by the end of 5 minutes, Carol?
I would love to define a niche.
Define a niche. Got it. Okay. So tell me,
Mhm.
who are your people? Who do you love working with?
Well, I'm early on in the certification process.
Well done.
So I have not done any coaching outside of my organization, but I have done some internal coaching. And so I can speak to sort of my niche there and how I might see that translate, but it's not exactly the same, I don't think.
Stand up.
Stand up.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So tell me, we're all co-actives here. We can do this stuff. I don't need to explain much. Tell me, fantasy version. Who is your? Who would you love to work with? Tell me.
I love to work with mid-career women who want to grow and develop and sort of, you know, in their personal and professional lives.
Lovely. Yeah. Okay. Tell me a bit more about them. How else would we distinguish them? Mid-career women who want to grow and develop in their personal lives. Tell me something else about them in their current.
In their what? I'm sorry.
In their current situation.
Okay. Maybe they have families. Maybe they're starting families. They, you know, when I say mid-career, I would probably say, let's call it like 30s, 40s, right? Have attained some, you know, good amount of success, but are having trouble kind of breaking into that next level of success within, you know, in their careers.
Think about one person that you know of who represents this. One person that you've met, you've seen, you may have coached.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Give me a first name.
Randy.
Randy. So where does Randy hang out, social media wise? What does she read, listen to? Tell me about Randy.
Okay. She's got 2 young-ish kids. She's super busy and stressed out by, you know, demands of career and family. She really wants to, you know, kind of move up the corporate ladder, but is feeling blocked and, you know, in a fairly male-dominated organization. I think outside of work, she spends most of her time with friends that have, you know, age appropriate kids or people that are related to, you know, her kids via school or stuff like that.
What is her dream? What would she love to get to? What would she come and say to you? This is where I want to get to.
She wants to define her own success. So maybe that's a, you know, by title, by income, by whatever, but like, what is success for her in a, you know, career?
Yeah.
But work-life balance is important and making sure that she's there for her family and present, able to be present.
That's a big, yeah.
And also have connection outside of family and career that's meaningful.
Got it. Where would you find her, you know, in terms of her and others like her? Where does she hang out? Social media, reading, consuming, organizations, groups, what?
Yeah, I think she's probably on social media.
Which
at
one?
the end of a long day on the couch, you know, doom scrolling like the rest of us. Sorry.
Which one?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Instagram and maybe some LinkedIn for some business connections and
Got it.
checking out, what leaders in her company and others are posting.
And I'm just holding time. So
Yeah.
any other kind of obvious groups or anything? And if not, it's not a problem, but just if there's anything.
Maybe some parenting kind of Facebook groups or other
Okay.
like neighborhood parent, things, community-based parent groups.
Got it. Any specific industry or not?
No, I don't think so.
Got it. You got it? You got your niche? You got it?
Sort of, yeah.
Yeah, you sort of have.
Yeah.
Yeah. Take a seat. Take Randy back down to your seat. So who's your niche? Roughly speaking, because we've only done 5 minutes on it, but just tell me line. Who's your niche?
Women in their 30s and 40s who are striving for career success and work-life balance.
On her own terms.
On her own terms. Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that niche enough?
Look, but I think that is niche enough. If you get super specific about those pain points and you're already nearly there, watch the recording back. You're nearly there. Do some market research. I highly recommend this to everybody. So start speaking to those women, start putting the feelers out, start messaging to those women. Think of, you'll know loads of those women. Are you a yoga bunny? You look like you're a yoga.
Pilates
bunny. Oh my God, talk about in your niche, start saying, this is who I work with. This is what I help them achieve. And you'll start honing that messaging. Hone. And just to know, for the people who are nervous or anti defining a niche, do know that you'll also get loads of people that aren't in that niche, or you can get another niche. So I've got my coach mentees as one niche. I've got my senior leaders as another niche, and also midlife professionals is another niche who are doing that big, midlife crisis thing. They're my 3 niches. Go and have a look at my website. You'll see what I mean. You don't have to just have one. Start with one like you're doing. But you're there. Also, holding time, we're done. What's your big takeaway?
That I think I knew it. I just needed to speak it and put it out there, and for it to feel like it was meaningful and right.
And keep doing that and keep defining. You will. It's in the doing and speaking to those women. That's where you get super, super clear. You do need to get more granular, absolutely, but you can do that. You've done the hard. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm glad I got my Zoom to work.
There you go. So am I.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Carol, for volunteering. Thank you, Sue. I think that was really valuable for everyone to hear. There's been lots of sort of chatter going on, which is great. We've got 5 minutes, so I'm going to do a quick fire round at you, Sue.
Yeah, go for it.
Someone's a story that I think I want to share here, where someone said they started their coaching journey, got really into you have to find a niche, and then just felt so much pressure it all went. So I hope you've got some inspiration from that to re-engage, and please go out there and be a coach.
Yes, do.
Someone has asked here, you mentioned earlier about charging an hourly rate. How do you sell your coaching program? Do you sell it in blocks? Do you sell it in a series of sessions? What's the sort of way people should approach this?
Yeah, I have a program, and then within that program, I have typically 3 or 4 different options of working with me, ways of working with me that include different additional pieces within it, and or a time frame. Go and have a look at my website on my coach mentoring page, and you'll see that how I do it. But I would never, ever coach an hourly rate, because we are not turning up and doing an hourly job. We are holding somebody in the process. And you really want to come away from that hourly rate thing, because you want to engage somebody for a really good amount of time, and actually potentially for a lifetime, because there's always stuff to work on. So do come away. You are not a plumber, rocking up, mending a washing machine. That's not what we do. And you want to take people away from that, and you want to link it in terms of, I do a real chemistry call. I have a structure that I teach my mentees, because you want to link the investment, and it is an investment, to the results and to the value of the coaching, not how long you sit on a Zoom call with them for.
And then we have a couple of sort of questions. I think these are adoration questions for you, Sue. How long does it take to become as good and fluent in coaching? And also, where can they find your books?
Yeah, God, it's a lifetime. Thank you very much for the acknowledgement. And there's always room for improvement, I would say, but I just live and breathe it. I love what I do. Yeah, I love it. So thank you. And my books, okay, so Screen Meditation is on Amazon, and my Change Your Life in 5 is available on my website, suebelton.com. And if you order it on there, I will personally be the one sending it to you. So do let me know anything, or put any messages in there to me, because it is me that posts them by hand, and I write in there if you say, yes, I'd like a personal message. So that's the two, Amazon or my website, suebelton.com.
Great. We have literally a couple of minutes left, and I just wanted to give you the floor. Thank you first for all your time and your great advice today, but just to give you the floor to leave people with one sort of parting message.
Yeah. Remember why you do it. What we do is amazing. I think it's super, super easy to forget the transformation that the co-activity gives us. It is amazing what we do. So don't forget that, and do the work of building your business so you can do that beautiful work in the world. You do need that to support you to do that. Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone. Is there, we've got so much value out of today. I believe that there's been so much. I think seeing the live mentoring sessions has been really inspirational. And so I hope you've all sort of taken from that as well, and you can take that into your own practices. So yeah, thank you so much, Sue.
You're welcome,
And
Rebecca.
we'll see you all soon.
See you. Bye.
Bye.